Join us today as we talk about the Disney Plus series Star Wars Andor. Welcome back, everybody, and to any new folks out there. If you haven't done so and you've seen our other videos, like what you've seen, like, subscribe, share, spend some comments down the section down there. Yeah, that place. You know what I'm talking about. This is YouTube. You've all done this before.
This is the internet part of it needs to be hurtful, right?
What's that?
It's the internet part of the comments need to be hurtful.
Well, they don't have to be hurtful.
We just take that hurt and make ourselves better with it, though.
Well, they can be nice, too.
No.
If we're doing a good job, I'd like to know. Well, anyway.
Him and his wanting nice comments.
Yeah.
I just want any comments.
Well, yes, I'd like any comments, because we do get comments. We try to respond to them and react accordingly, but yeah.
Back on topic now.
So anyway, today we're going to be talking about the Star Wars Disney Plus series Andor, which, for those of you who don't recall, follows the second to main character
of Rogue One, Cassian Andor.
Yeah, but he's not a secondary. He's co-lead, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the lead's Jyn Erso, but he's like right
number
there.
2.
He's like right there, almost like 1.5 kind of. So anyway, Cassian Andor. He was the rebel who, as Rogue One showed, definitely willing to just like shoot somebody if they're a liability.
Yes. The rebel spy slash assassin slash saboteur slash anything the rebellion needs him to do to further the cause of the rebellion.
Yeah. So, for those of you who remember Rogue One, this is obviously a prequel series.
Nope, it's a sequel, people. Sequel.
No, it's not. This kind of somewhat shows not the formation of the Empire, because it's too far along for that, but definitely like the Empire, them gaining greater control over things, them asserting their dominance throughout the galaxy. And up till now, we've really only seen like kind of one scene like that, if I remember correctly. That's the one scene in Solo where they're on like the battlefield, where the Empire's just like...
Oh, on Mimban.
Yeah, where Han was kind of like, well, actually, we're the invaders, guy. He's like, what's that, soldier? Nothing, sir. So anyway...
which is also where you find out there's more than just stormtroopers in the Imperial military.
Yeah.
Because he was part of the Imperial Army.
Yeah. That's the one thing that doesn't make sense. Like there would have to be, the stormtroopers theoretically should be the equivalent of like Marines
Or Navy SEALs.
But there should still be like an army. Just the uniformed soldiers and not the tip of the spear. But anyway, we're diverging here.
Yes.
So the show is 6 episodes in right now, of 12, as I understand it. And so we're probably not going to do like a blow-by-blow of each of the following episodes. We're probably either going to wait till episode 9 or 12 to do another one of these videos. Because the show seems to be set up for the episodes to go in 3-episode arcs. That's why they premiered the first 3 episodes all together. And these last 3 episodes have definitely formed like another little narrative arc. So... like I said, Cassian Andor is the main character, but we're also following Mon Mothma, and it's the woman who played her in Rogue One and the deleted scenes in Revenge of the Sith. So this is while she's still a senator. Also, this is 5 years before the Battle of Yavin, which it was interesting to see the show actually embrace the time scale that the old expanded universe created. And the first episode opens with the notation of 5 BBY, which is before the Battle of Yavin, making the battle in A New Hope, that's their year 0. So everything before that is before the Battle of Yavin, and everything afterwards is after the Battle of Yavin, ABY. So But this is, as far as I recall, this is the only time we actually see that date in something actually genuinely official like this. So that was an interesting note. Yeah, so it shows Cassian's background a little bit about the planet he came from. That kind of was in the first 3 episodes. I know we're going to see more of that because he's been trying to find his sister. And these last 3 episodes, that plot didn't emerge at all. So I'm sure we're going to come back to that. But overall, I think it's a very good show. It is a much slower paced show than The Mandalorian. It's definitely taking its time to get where it's going, which is good because we're seeing all kinds of things. We're seeing, okay, so like I mentioned, it's kind of serious. There's other little things before I kind of go into this. Like, for instance, everyone remembers back in A New Hope, old Aunt Beru pouring Luke the blue milk. Well, we actually have confirmation that it is milk because there's a guy who uses it in a bowl of cereal at one point.
Are we sure it's cereal?
Well, I mean, we have to assume.
It's the equivalent of cereal, pretty much.
So it is their equivalent of milk. Yeah, so you got things like that. You really get to see the contrasts in conditions in the galaxy because parts of the episodes take place on Coruscant. You know, the height of wealth and decadence, and everything is shiny and new, and
unless you go to the lower levels,
made of marble and steel and glass and
chrome. Don't get chrome.
And then you go to like the planets that Cassian's on. Let's just say not so shiny.
Mud huts.
Mud. In fact, the planet he's originally from, they were like a cargo cult, like his people. The Empire thought everyone was dead on the planet because of a mining accident. A ship crashes. Their people kill the people on the ship because they attack them. But then scavengers show up, and they're starting to strip down the ship, knowing that, they say the Republic is going to be there any moment. And one of them grabs Cassian and brings him with him. And that's how he gets off his home planet, and why he's trying to find his sister. So, yeah, that's the little bit of the backstory we got so far with him. But you also get to see, like, the system he's in the first 3 episodes is under the control of a security company that's being paid by the Empire to keep control. So the Empire is still rent-a-copping it out in a bunch of places. But whenever things go completely disastrous for them, the Imperial security forces come in and are like, you guys are all fired. The Empire's taking control. That's going to be our new office building. We don't want to see you ever again. Leave. So that's how the Empire takes control, sector by sector. Interestingly, their ship that those guys use is a very utilitarian looking design. It's just like a big block basically with kind of blunt edges. But the drop ships are very reminiscent of the clone drop ships, kind of like shorter and maybe a little more narrow, fewer people. But it looks like it's definitely a very similar design. And that's the thing about the show.
Well, there are variants to the LAAT.
Yeah, well, this is like the ship. Like I said, the ship's kind of boxy deal, and then it's got these and 5 spokes in the front, in the bottom, fire off and go down to land. So, but you can tell it's definitely in the same vein as that, and also I can't think of his character's name. Stellan Skarsgård's character. He's not a senator like I thought he was from the trailers. He is actually like an antiques dealer, but he's definitely wheeling and dealing and organizing the rebellion behind the scenes. But his character, his ship, is very clearly a Corellian ship. It's not the Falcon, but you can definitely see elements of the design.
The circular hull.
Yeah, and that's
offset cockpit.
Yeah, and that's one of the things I liked about the show so far is these vehicles look like they're made by the same people who made other Star Wars ships. How at the Empire, you can tell all the TIE fighters are made by Cinar Fleet Systems because they all have similar characteristics.
Yeah.
As opposed to the Rebel ships, because they kind of just cobbled everything together.
Where they just get whatever they can.
Right.
Including stealing some decommissioned Imperial ships.
Yeah, so like the X-Wing, the Y-Wing, the A-Wing, the B-Wing, they all look like they were designed by different people, because they probably were.
Different races, all kinds of different
stuff. Like the
stuff.
Mon Calamari cruisers versus like the Corellian Corvettes and stuff. Theirs looks cobbled together because it is. But these kind of things show you that, yes, these companies do make more than one ship. Cool. So I thought that was a nice little touch. And then, interestingly enough, we are 6 episodes in. None of the villains are like caricatures. Like, they're all people.
What?
Which is amazing so far.
Star Wars, though.
Oh, I know. And, like, some of them are like Imperial security people. And, like the 3 main ones we've come across so far. There's the guy in charge, whose name I didn't catch. I don't think it's Izard.
Oh.
But they didn't say his name, so it could be, but I don't know who he is in the credits. I don't recognize the actor. There's a gentleman who's been there for a while. He's probably the closest to just a character, because he's this is my sector. I don't have to do anything to help you, lady, to the woman who's been promoted to like the inner circle for Imperial Intelligence. And, so he's kind of all, huffy puffy. He's the standard Imperial you expect. And then there's the woman, and she's the one who's trying to tell him, look, there's all these little thefts all over the galaxy. And she's like, any one of them is nothing. But collectively, she's like, if I were organizing a rebellion, this is how I would do it. Don't hit the same place twice. Spread out your targets. And she's trying to tell him, she's like, it's just a hunch. And the director's like, well, unfortunately, we don't have time for hunches. That's not our job. Our job is to stop problems. He's going to say something else there. But and he tells her, like, look, I know you're good at X, Y, and Z. Do those things. People are expecting great things of you. I'm pretty sure that's an allusion to, notice there aren't any other women here kind of thing, But at the same time, he was also like, I know you can do this. It wasn't like you fail here and you're gone. It's like no, look, I have faith that you can do this. Prove me right, Which, again, you don't expect that. There's in the base that they have to hit, there's a defector. And the other Imperials don't know that he married one of the local people. And she died. And he's been, like, ever since then, has been trying to figure out how to stick it to the Empire. But even the guy that runs the base, even though he's, your standard Imperial, like, can't do this kind of stuff. You see that he's got a wife and a kid there. And he's trying to tell his wife, like, look, we got to impress these people. That's how we're going to get out of here. Because I know you don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I want us to be in a better position. So you can see everything he's doing for his family. You see all these moments, and you're like, oh, right. The Empire is made up of people, too. And they're not all cackling, insane villains like Palpatine and Vader,
Vader never cackled.
Okay, but if he could, he would.
Yes, if he could, he would.
So yeah, and that's
he's much too far into his dark, brooding emo days.
Right, and it's just refreshing to see that. To see that both sides are made up of heavily flawed people, trying to do what they think is either the right thing or the right thing for them, because I'm sure the Imperials have no illusions that what they're doing isn't right, So far, none of them seem to be the types that have drunk the Kool-Aid too much. But, and then there's the security people that lead the raid in the first few episodes. We're following one of them. He was the guy that got left in charge. It was a little overzealous and got talked into doing the raid. Well, once the Empire bought up everything, he's out of a job, so now he's back living with his mom in, like, the equivalent of, like, Space Florida, I think, in retirement. And so she's trying to, like, hook up with their uncle to get him a job, and I'm pretty sure the uncle's going to end up being a crime boss of some kind. So,
or the antique stealer guy.
Yeah, I mean, this guy could go either way. I don't know if he was, like, being overzealous because he wanted to see justice done for what happened.
Or he wanted a promotion.
Or if he wanted it for the promotion, or both. His motives aren't 100% clear. I could see this guy winding up with the rebellion, I could also see him trying to make amends with the Empire and join them. I'm curious to see which way he goes. Uh, but yeah, it's just seeing all these parts of how the Star Wars galaxy actually works. Has been very interesting, and to see real characters and not just cardboard cutouts. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the cardboard cutout characters. They're great. Tarkin's awesome. Tarkin's evil through and through. Knows it. Doesn't care.
Yep.
Palpatine is evil incarnate, and he loves every moment of it. He's a great villain. But if for one moment you have to try to take things seriously, an organization cannot be made up of those people. There have to be people that actually kind of believe in the cause.
Yeah.
Or that think they're doing the right thing, or et cetera, et cetera. So, since this is kind of like the prequel to Rogue One, which was the movie that gave us very sketchy alliance people going up against an actually somewhat competent Imperial guy who's just kind of getting screwed by the nepotism above him. Like,
you mean the absolute evil that stands above him?
Yeah. So, I felt bad for Krennic in that movie.
Yeah, especially since, the gunner of the Death Star, aimed right at him.
He's the only character we've seen get shot twice with a blaster and not die. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure the Death Star gunner's like, I ain't taking a chance.
If I don't hit him directly, he might survive.
Tarkin said take him out, he's going down. So, yeah. But yeah, from that, it's nice to see a more serious take, even though I know the setting isn't a serious setting. Overall it's nice so far. We're halfway through. I really hope they stick the landing for the second half, and I believe there's supposed to be a second season.
I have a question for you real quick.
Fire away.
Have they hinted at Thrawn any?
If they have, it's been so subtle I didn't notice it. Because I have seen a couple people have videos that I haven't watched that have been like, oh, this is subtly hinting at this expanded universe character. And I'm like, I didn't watch it, so I don't know who the hell they're talking about. But
yeah. And I believe there's going to be 3 seasons.
Was it 3? Okay.
Yes. I read an article saying they wanted 5 to start with. And
I mean, there's enough material.
The guy who plays Cassian Andor.
Is it Diego Luna?
Yeah, Diego Luna told him, I can't do this for 5 seasons. It'd kill me. So, he had him step it down to 3 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I like him, and he's very brooding.
He's a good actor, period.
He's very brooding for the first few episodes, but he starts to open up by about, episode 5 and 6, because he gets put in with a group of rebels, and it's Skarsgård's character that gets him in there, and he only tells the group leader that he's essentially a mercenary that he's hired.
Okay.
And so then one of the group members sees that he has a Kyber crystal that's worth about 30,000 credits because it's one from the Rakatan Empire. So, yeah. Little shout out.
The Rakatans?
Yeah, a little shout out to the Knights of the Old Republic games there. And so, and so the guy's like, why? He's like, we're out here in the middle of nowhere. You have nothing on you. Why do you have a crystal worth 30,000 credits? And finally he breaks heads like, all right, look, I was paid to be here, okay? I don't want you guys, we're going into this thing blind here. We need to trust each other. I don't want to worry about you guys shooting me in the back. So cards on the table. I was paid to be here. All right, that's why I've got that. That's my payment. So, but yeah,
interesting.
Yeah, like I said, it's good, and if you're a big fan of seeing elements of the Imperial War Machine in action, we've got some scenery of that in Episode 6.
Do we get to see that the stormtroopers are actually elite crack shots?
No, this is more like the TIE fighter pilots getting ready and taking off and doing their thing.
Cool.
And all this is happening while this religious ceremony is happening on the planet. There's this massive the planet's moving into the tail of a comet, so it's a massive meteor shower, and even the Imperials are all like to the ones that haven't been there before, this is the reason, this is the only thing that makes this posting worthwhile, is this thing, and you see this is even another one of those humanizing moments. even the Imperials that are down there, kind of with the people, supposed to be guarding and make sure they don't get out of hand. Even they're like awestruck at what they're seeing.
Oh wow.
They're like, with the others, like they're communing in the same kind of religious experience. So yeah, and it looks impressive too, like what's happening. Yeah, in fact, it's really only bad for the TIE fighter pilots. Turns out you shouldn't try to fly a TIE fighter through that.
No. You also shouldn't try to fly it through an asteroid field.
Yeah, no. So anyway,
The chances of survival are, we don't know because he got cut off.
Yeah, well, almost any asteroid field you're going to come across will be nowhere near that dense because it'll have shed all the big pieces will have hit each other a long time ago.
I know.
That's like right after Alderaan got destroyed, kind of asteroid field.
I know.
So, but I mean, dramatic tension for the movie. I'm not going to criticize The Empire Strikes Back over that because it's a near perfect movie otherwise. So, but yeah, so I can't recommend highly enough if you're a Star Wars fan, particularly of the original trilogy and Rogue One. Definitely check this one out. It's worth a while so far. Hopefully they're gonna stick the landing, like I said. This is it's as exciting as The Mandalorian in the whole like, hey, good Star Wars stuff, but definitely a different direction. It's not the high speed of The Mandalorian. It's we have a story to tell. It involves real people. This is going to take some time, but we're going places.
If this is the early days of the rebellion, do we see Saw Gerrera?
He's in the show. We haven't met him yet, but he's in the trailers and they've mentioned him. So it is Forrest Whitaker. So
I was just wondering if he'd shown up yet.
He's been mentioned, but he hasn't shown up yet. But I do know he's in the show because he's in the trailer. So yeah. So anyway, folks, thank you for watching. Give us a like, thumbs up, thumbs down, I guess, if you didn't like it. I'd really like you to tell us why if you do that, though. Some of our videos have some thumbs down, and I wish the people would tell us why they didn't like it, but that's up to you. Comment, subscribe, share it around. Tell us what else you want to know about. Because we're going to kind of do some TV streaming roundup, because there's actually stuff to watch right now after the wasteland of the last several years.
I don't know. I've still just been watching YouTube videos.
Well, if you're doing that, share ours around so some other folks can watch ours too. So anyway, folks, thank you for watching, and stay safe out there.